So FPV is a very unique experience. Not only is it immersive, it's also exciting and extremely fun. So when DIATONE announced they're gonna release an FPV car, I was like, yeah, I'm down for that. So today we're taking a look at the Q33 karting FPV car by DIATONE. All right, so here's the box right here. Pretty nice box actually, very nice layout with nice color pictures on here. You have the box here with the kart on here, and it's a 1/76 scale karting FPV car, tabletop racing car. So first person view, yeah, that's pretty cool. And around the box here, there's a few things on here. You have a choice of multiple colors. Obviously I went with the red color on here, but you can get a series of colors, including this gray one right here that we have on the table. So on the back here, it just talks a little bit about the car. So it's a 1/76 scale car, so that's really, really tiny. As you can see back here, I have a 1/10 scale car here as well. So that's a little bit larger car. So 1/76 is really, really tiny. 2.4 gigahertz, which is awesome. Power motor here, professional RC. Okay, so a 30-degree turning radius, so very tight turning radius. Full proportional steering control, which is really amazing. Some of the older and cheaper cars, it goes full lock left or full lock right. So with this one here, if you turn it very slightly, it turns very slightly. So it's very proportional to your steering input. 60 minutes of battery life, which is amazing. And this one has a 140 milliamp hour battery. So really cool here. This car does come in two versions. It comes in a FPV version and a non-FPV version. So obviously, if you just want to drive the car line of sight, you can get the non-FPV version. If you do get the FPV version, then it comes with a camera mounted to the car as well. So as far as the battery life, it's 60 minutes, which is pretty adequate. I don't know anyone, including kids, who wants to play for 60 minutes at a time. And that's the non-FPV version. If you do have the FPV version, it is 20 minutes. Capacity, the battery, as I said before, is a 140 milliamp hour battery for the FPV version, which is a little bit larger. And the weight, because it's carrying a camera, is 24 grams versus 19 grams. So I have my unboxing knife here. Let's cut this thing open. I don't want to damage the box because the box looks pretty nice. Right there. All right, so let's open this box and see what's inside. Tight fit. Looks like a regular straight all plain box. Pretty cool. DIATONE Q33 karting 1/76 FPV car. User manual. Might want to go through this. And there you go, guys. This is really nice. Wow. Good presentation, guys. Really good. Let's get this remote out first. It's the biggest thing I see here. It does feel very plasticky though. I wish there was some rubber on the steering wheel, but it is what it is. Very light too. So nice cable here, USB-A to some kind of connector, and I'm sure this is used for charging the battery in the car. And then you have a spare body here. All right, a keychain, pretty cool. So if you wanna put this keychain on your keys, that's cool, DIATONE. And here's the star right here. The car, let's move this foam here. There you go, that helps. And pull this out. And there you go, guys. Wow, really nice car. I did opt for the red color, which is good. And this camera, guys, if you look at it, this camera is really big, surprisingly big. I was expecting a smaller camera. Not even the housing, just the lens is pretty large. So, and it's very clear. So we'll see how this thing performs. Besides that, there's nothing else in here. So let's take a look at this car, guys. And you can tell it is digital proportional. These wheels are very rubberized, which is good for, like, you know, smooth surface like tiles and stuff like that. The paint job on here is really good too. Now, I mean, that could be a small thing, but these cars with these small details, yeah, sometimes manufacturers can skimp on some of the qualities, but the paint on this looks really good. So if you look here, you can see a power switch, on off switch, and then here's the plug that we talked about earlier, where you can use to charge your car. Besides that, you have this pretty interesting, I guess, camera here. Yeah, here's your regular antenna. Looks like a linear dipole antenna, and I'm sure the VTX is built into this camera as well. Now, talking about this camera here and the VTX, this thing does have a 25 milliwatt VTX, so not very far, but it's not like a drone that you're gonna fly, you know, yards and yards away. Probably by the time you get to 100 feet or more, this thing is gonna be very, very small and hard to see. So yeah, I think 25 milliwatts should be pretty adequate. All right, guys, that's nice. Let's take a look at this controller here. Man, nothing much on here at all. So I'm sure you can reverse by pulling this backwards. You can push it forward to let it go forward, and then you have an on-off switch, and then a different mode button here, so you can change from, I guess, beginner mode to normal mode. Besides, under here, it just takes 2 AA batteries, and I have those batteries right here, so we might as well just put them in right here. 2 batteries, and that's pretty cool. Let's power it up. Let's get the goggles. I'm gonna power up, search for the channel, do an auto search, and then see how it works. And then do a manual search and do it the right way, and then go for a test drive, guys. Our first FPV test drive. Let's do it. All right, guys, so we have the car here, we have the radio, we have all the batteries in here. I tried to charge this car for 20 minutes, but it's just, I'm impatient, so I'm ready to drive this thing. So anyways, so we're gonna power it up. Hit this button under here to power it up, and you see the lights flashing. Power on the radio, and nothing's happening, guys. Okay, so DIATONE does indicate that the car does come pre-bind to the radio, but there's nothing happening here. So we're gonna put it into binding mode. We're just gonna hold the power button here for 3 seconds. So we're gonna power on the car, hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000. Now it's flashing pretty fast. And then we're just gonna power on the radio, and it should bind. Oh, there it is. So let's see the steering. Oh yeah, you gotta see that in person. The wheels turning, and it is digital proportional, meaning whenever I turn the wheel slightly, it is turning slightly as well. So let's see reverse. Oh, this thing is so smooth. All right, not bad. All right, what I really want to see here is the FPV camera. So let's put this down again. All right, so let's see if this thing puts out an FPV signal. So I'm gonna power on my goggles. All right, I'm gonna do an auto search here, and hopefully you can see that it's searching. Oh. Okay, it found the camera. 5865, the auto search got it. This is, I think it's already on 5865. So the manual says 5865 right here. Your typical goggles isn't gonna have this right here. So what I was gonna do at the end, if that didn't work, because I don't really recommend auto scan, because this thing will get the closest channel, but not get the exact channel. But okay, so I have this card right here, and I'll probably leave a link for one of these cards as well, so you can see it. But this is a card with all the frequencies and channels. So the first channel here says, what, A, which is 5865. I look on the chart, 5865. Based upon my chart here, that's actually the first one, A1. All right, guys, so this thing looks pretty awesome. I'm impressed with the clarity of the camera. So let's go drive this thing. I know we did a little test drive here, but as you notice in the background, I have a little track right there. So let's go down there and take this for a test drive, guys. Let's do it. I'm kind of psyched here. Alright guys, so we're back from our test drive of the DIATONE Q33 FPV car. And this thing is pretty cool guys, really fun. A lot more fun than the size really shows. So anyways, let's talk about this and the experience I had with this. Alright, so we went down to the track down here. Pretty cool track. If you're interested in that track, I'll leave a link down below where you can find that pretty cool, amazing track. And the first thing I noticed was just the lack of torque in the car. So typically when you press the trigger here, the throttle here, the car would move pretty easily, but I really had to dip into the throttle just to get it to move. And yeah, I get it, it's a small motor and it's a really small battery, I think 140 milliamp hour battery. But yeah, I really had to dip into it. Now, once you get going and start moving, the speed is adequate, no big deal there. All right, so pretty cool. I figured out the torque, I figured out the throttle, I figured out the steering, everything seems to be good. So now we took it for a lap around the track here, line of sight without the goggles, but it was a little bit difficult. You know, just like anything new, it takes a while to get used to. And after a while, it worked pretty well, got a hang of it, got to increase my speed. But after a while, I think after like 10 minutes, I said, okay, let's go FPV, let's see how this is gonna work. Maybe I may have better luck with the goggles. Put the goggles on, and sure enough, immediately, image was clear, no breakup. The camera angle is really amazing, and you can see your hood for the car, the number of the car, and also the wheels. So it's really good for judging or aiming your corner or keeping center line on the road or on the track. So that's really amazing, guys. FPV was really good. I adjusted really quickly, and I was able to get more consistent laps with the FPV versus line of sight. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are gonna find the same thing as well. Now, this is an FPV car, so it is designed for the goggles, and sure enough, it is a better experience with the goggles. So if you were to buy this, yes, you can buy the non-FPV version, but this kit really isn't that expensive, so I highly recommend you get the FPV version. I think you'll have a more enjoyable experience. So having increased my speed and then decreasing lap times, it began to show some of the imperfections in my track. So my track is pretty good actually. At first it started pretty good, and I can easily get it smooth, but there are some wavy or some bumps in the track. So the next thing to notice here is that the suspension in this car is surprisingly good. Now there's no travel, there's no up and down, there's a little bit of play, but maybe with these rubber tires, these things are doing a good job, because sometimes I'd go over some nice bumps, not even a pothole or a hole, but just a nice bump, and this thing would just go over like a little hump, you know, get a little jump. And you can see in the FPV camera, it was pretty fun. Multiple times I thought I would wipe out or just roll over, but you know, even with those jumps, it did a good job just staying on the track. All right, so now that we spent another 10 minutes on the track, I decided to go downstairs and try it on the tile, a very smooth surface. And that's where it really shined, because there's less drag. Although the carpet is pretty cool, and my track down here is also carpet as well. Going on a tile or a tabletop surface is where this thing shines, because there's less drag, so the torque really isn't a problem there. And this thing can take corners pretty fast, guys. I mean, we went on the tile, and for the most part, I was using maybe 70% throttle. Didn't never have to use 100% throttle on the tile. This thing is really quick, especially with the FPV goggles. And I had a blast, guys. Really, there's no lines to follow, but I made my own track around the island in the kitchen. And this thing worked pretty well. Went around the dogs. The dogs, you know, was trying to chase this, or we were trying to chase the dogs with this. And the dogs had a blast, you know, like, what is this small thing? Even my wife was using it, and she had a blast flying it. She thought it was very fun. When I went downstairs in the kitchen, it's a lot larger space. And there are some places where there's some corners and some obstacles. The VTX worked really well. Just once in a while I get a little bit of haze, but no real breakup, guys. Really good VTX. Now 25 milliwatts is more than enough. Now the battery life on this is a big thing. My own came not charged. Usually they have, you know, the battery charged in here. And this thing claims to have a 20-minute lifespan, and I got easily over that, even without a full charge, guys. So, you know, I was eager to drive this thing, so I charged it for a few minutes, and I got more than 20 minutes. I drove it for 10 minutes here, and went down and drove it for another 10 minutes. I do think Diatone is derating their battery life on this. Just to be safe, they're saying 20 minutes, but I'm sure you can get more than 20 minutes with this. So yeah, guys, now having said everything, who is this car for? Why should I get this? Well, first of all, it's cool. It's a novelty item, and it's FPV. This is an FPV channel. We do FPV things here. I would say, you know, if you're into FPV things like I am, then this is a really good buy. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. Maybe for your kids, you know, this thing says it's recommended for kids 14 and over. So if you have kids in the house, maybe this may be a good introductory to FPV and the goggles and just get them, you know, into that whole immersive experience. But also now, if you're an experienced FPV pilot, this may also be for you, just because, hey, we're in the winter time right now, it's really cold outside. It's whoop season, right? We want to do things that's indoors. We want to fly indoors, we want to drive indoors. So, you know, in the summertime, you know, you can use this, yeah, sure, but you might get a bigger or a larger RC car that can go over dirt, grass, whatever. In the wintertime, you're not going to put this in the snow. So, yeah, guys, this is good for like anyone in whoop season. So, for me, I'll be using this a lot more. I had a lot more fun than I expected. So, really cool. Kudos to Diatone for making this thing right here. It will be even more fun, guys, if you had friends or family members who have also one of these. So as I said, you can have up to 4 of these on the track just because of the FPV system. There's only 4 channels, so that's it. That's all you can use. So that would be awesome, guys. If I had another person on that track, it'd be so much fun. You can overtake, you know, go behind the person, and you have it all recorded in your goggles, guys. If you have any questions about this Diatone Q33, leave them down below. Any questions or comments, I'll be happy to answer those. And while you're there, please consider subscribing to the channel. Therefore, you'll be notified whenever I do drop a new FPV, yes, FPV video, guys. So anyways, thank you for sticking around with this long video, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.